just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove.
Hello and welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Hero Daniels. As you can see, I am not Ebuka Obi Uchendu. Well, he is away and he asked me to fill in for him. But I'm sure we'll have a great show today. So much has been happening in Nigeria. In fact, we can't even keep up with the news. And the very viral story of the alleged rape story by Pastor Biodun Fatoyin. And of course, the person in question is the wife of Timi Dakolo, Busola Dakolo. Trust me, it has taken over the internet. And, you know, there's no way you can actually be on social media and you wouldn't come across the story. But that is not the discuss for today. Let's take a look at the news from the front page. Top on the list is the policy by President Muhammadu Buhari to set up Ruga farming settlements using public funds. And of course, to discuss that with me today, we have two amazing lawyers, Farouk Abbas and Wale Oshunde. Hello, sirs. How are you doing?
Hi.
Good to have you on the show. Good to have you on the show.
Yeah,
so, the president has decided to use public funds to set up Ruga farming settlements as one of the ways, according to the proposal they have put forth, to sort of settle the clash between herdsmen and farmers. What do you make of that, Farouk?
Thank you very much for that question. I have a very different view on the Ruga issue because, I mean, I've read the papers a couple of days ago and social media has been awash about various criticisms to the policy, but I have a different view. And when I say I have a different view, I'll explain what I mean. What I mean is that federal government, we all agree that our economy is in shambles now. So what it means is that government needs to embark on some spendings to make the economy thrive, to create opportunities for people. And when you say government funds are being spent on private issues, we need to dissect it very well and analyze it. Is that really correct? Because my understanding of the Ruga issue is that government wants to set up cattle settlements for herdsmen. And I visited a couple of settlements, cattle settlements across southwest Nigeria. I'm from Ejigbo local government in Osun State, and we have over 20 settlements in my local government.
Already?
So what? Yes. And when I say settlement, I mean a place where herdsmen live, and they've been accommodated by the original landowners in those places. And when I visited these communities, I observed a lot of things. They don't have water, they don't have schools, and they don't have health care and all that. So when you go there, at some point when I visited one of these settlements, I posted a picture on social media, and a lot of people were commenting, asking me that, is this place in Nigeria? Because they felt the place was so backward and they didn't believe that we had this kind of place in Nigeria.
So you're basically saying that on the scale of preference, that is not what we should be focusing on.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if government decides and says that we want to make this place more habitable for this set of people, I don't see anything wrong in that. Because what's going to happen is that these herdsmen, what they do is they wake up in the morning and they take their cattle to different places and to go and feed their cattle. And in the course of doing that, we have a lot of violence. We have violence between the herdsmen and landowners and all that. So I don't see it as a way of government incentivizing or giving them money just for free. My understanding of the policy is that government wants to make their settlements habitable, and government has a duty to do that. Because if you go to these settlements, they are Nigerians, a lot of them are Nigerians. So if government is saying that I want to use these funds to create schools, to create water for them and healthcare center, I don't see anything wrong in that. I believe that's a good policy. But what I have a problem with is government taking over land and saying that you are giving it to help a particular kind of business. But the idea behind the policy is very fantastic.
Okay,
but it needs to
Farouk, let's back up a little bit. So the president has plans of establishing the settlements in several states. And already about 12 states have rejected it.
Yes.
So, and you just made mention of some of the states don't even have the basic social amenities.
Yes.
So what I'm asking, do you think at this point in time that setting up a herdsman settlement is a priority compared to other, social amenities that is required by these communities that already have existing settlements?
Well, to be honest with you, part of the Ruga settlement itself, the Ruga settlement project itself, is creating amenities, establishing amenities in those settlements. And those settlements are habited by Nigerians. So if you dig a borehole there and you create a school there, it's an amenity for that environment. So they're also Nigerian. So in terms of priority, I don't think you can downplay it and say it's not. But if it's in terms of just creating where the cattle will go and be eating alone, then that one we can say maybe there's no priority. But the settlement is a holistic project.
We'll get back to you, Farouk. Wale, what do you think?
Okay, thank you very much. Farouk has a very brilliant perspective to this, but I like to differ from his point of view with due respect to him. You see, the fundamental question is this. We should be asking whether the federal government has that right over the lands that belongs to states. And the first answer would be no. The Land Use Act and even the Supreme Court, I'm excited that Farouk is a lawyer like me.
Yes.
The Supreme Court has said that, look, ownership of lands in states belongs to the states. And then the state governor holds this land in trust for the people. The only area in the Federal Republic of Nigeria where the federal government has overwhelming rights to use land the way it pleases is the Federal Capital Territory. So the moment we're able to clear this very important point, then it goes to show that the federal government cannot unilaterally set up any establishment whatsoever without due consultation and without the state governments or the state governors agreeing that, yes, we have the capacity to give out these plots or hectares of land. And so that is the first point. And that's exactly the reason some state governors are saying, look, we do not, exactly, that's one.
Yeah.
Number two, we also want to ask ourselves the question, you want to invest this massive amount of money in such an innovation that is actually going to benefit the private investors. What exactly is the state going to make out of this? Yes, I agree with you that the government must find an holistic way, to end this herdsmen crisis.
The clash, yes.
Exactly, farmers, herdsmen clashes and what have you. Yes, that's correct. And I quite agree with the federal government on that. But you know the problem?
Yes.
We need to do it in a very neat way. Why are we calling it Ruga settlements? Why not call it ranches or ranching? And you see, my problem with the Federal Republic of Nigeria is that rather than creating solutions for our problems, we create problems for our solutions. Because this same issue had been addressed by Argentina, by Brazil, by even the United States of America many years ago. Some over 100 years ago. And they were able to resolve farmers' herdsmen clashes without any stress. Why don't we learn from that experience? And we are instead creating problems for the solution that we already have.
Okay, I'll take it from what you said. Why is the government focusing so much on setting up these settlements for the private sector, in quotes, for private businesses? So do you think there is, because some school of thought, some people believe that there might be some sort of agenda. What would be the explanation for government's keen interests in setting up this settlements?
Okay, thank you
for
that
the private businesses.
Yes, we all know that the reason is because of these clashes that we have incessantly all over the place. Everybody understands that, and I quite appreciate the fact that government is trying to do something in that regard. But what you do will ultimately make or mar this administration, and that's the truth.
So
why do we now need to go that way or that route of investing taxpayers' monies into investments that will benefit private investors? And some people have said a particular section of the country would benefit immensely from this. And look at it. If we say ranches and you make the others pay a particular fee or, to assess the place and all that, that makes sense. But why call it Ruga settlement? And make it sound like you are going to take over a particular territory of my state, and then cede that to some herdsmen, and then nothing comes out of it for the state government.
But do you think that would solve the current situation? Because you would agree with me that it's a serious issue. It's a serious issue. Security is a serious issue in this country. So, Farouk,
yes,
do you think that would solve this clash?
Yes, I believe it will solve it considerably. And I need to explain a particular point. I agree with my good friend Wale that ranching is a private
business.
Yeah, but this issue is not just all about ranching. And you know, when I was talking earlier, maybe you missed the point. I said my local government, where I come from, there are settlements there already. So the issue of land ownership or transfer of land doesn't arise at this point now. And of course, if the federal government wants to embark on this kind of project, the federal government has to go through the governors, because the governors are the ones who hold the land in trustee. So for the people, what I'm saying is that there are some communities in Nigeria, in southwest Nigeria right now, where some headsmen live, and they've been accepted by members of those communities. So I'm telling you that this Ruga settlement issue goes beyond ranching. It also extends to providing amenities for those people, because those people also go and look for water. They go to look for school for their children. They go to look for a source of livelihood.
So it's literally like using one stone to kill several birds.
But if it's about ranching alone, I wouldn't support that. If it's about ranching alone, I wouldn't support that. Why? I understand, and I've visited the settlement. A lot of people criticizing this policy. I've never visited a herdsman settlement before. I've visited over 5 settlements, and I saw the way they are living in squalor. They are living in squalor. So, and I know that there's no sense, no government does anything for them. All the settlements in my local government, no government does anything for them. So if it's ranching, it should be privatized.
Considering the amount of money the government is willing to invest into this, don't you think it's necessary to invest this amount of money into something else?
Oh, of course.
Education, for example.
Health sector and education, we need tons of dollars, billions of dollars to take it to the next
So why
step.
are we not pushing education the way we're pushing it?
Well, you know, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. If you look at the budget for this country now, about 66% of our income is being used to service debts. So that's an unsustainable model. So when we talk about restructuring, you know, the government cannot designate a large chunk of money to health sector or to education. If they do that, they'll probably cripple their whole system. So the system we have is not sustainable. If we don't restructure the system, we're just going to be running in circles, because the money needed for education and health sector
back to the question.
Exactly.
Back to the question, why don't we use this money for other sectors?
You know, why I believe that we can balance it. If you feel the money is much, then we can have that conversation and say, okay, you want to spend 100 billion naira, why not reduce it? I mean, I'm happy to have that conversation, you know, and it's a welcome development. But what I'm against is, you pushing it. A lot of people that have been condemning this idea, they are not saying reduce the money you want to spend on it. They are saying, no, we disagree. It's about taking of land. No, in a place where some headsmen are already living, then you don't need to come and take any other land, because there's already a large expanse of land that the Bale or the traditional ruler of that community has already allowed them to stay. But if you want to go and take a fresh parcel of land, then you have to go through the right process, and you have to take land for public interest, not for private interest, you know. So I feel that is a good plan, but we have to discuss the issue of money and all that.
That leads me to the next question, Wale. There are sections of the country that believe that this might cause more problems. You know what I mean? So the Ohanes and Digbo had come out to say that they're kicking against it, and I also believe there are other groups that have come out to say that no, we do not want this. What do you make of that?
I mean, the reason is simple, because the federal government cannot just speak from Abuja and then issue some statements or declaration to say from next month or next week we are kicking off the first phase of without due consultation with not only the government, I mean the people.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the owners of these properties, these lands, and they need to be adequately and duly consulted before you can say that, yes, you are bringing a particular group of business men and women or investors, because now they will come in the form of elders and what have you, but they are businessmen and women. So if you want to bring them on my property, for example, I think it is only proper that you let me know, and then you are in terms with me to say, okay, yes, bring them from next month or next week or so. So if you just issue a press statement or a declaration, regardless of how beautiful that statement may read, it will not work, because my land is my land, my territory is my territory. And before you can say, yes, I am coming to settle some people in a particular location within your territory, I should be duly consulted.
Okay. So let's talk about the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. It's been over a month since the handover happened. And you know that as at the last administration, we had a bit of lag before he appointed his ministers. And it seems like it's happening again. So why do you think the ministerial appointments are being postponed or are taking time to happen? Farouk?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm not surprised that it's taking time. You know, this government has a trademark. It's a very slow government. They don't have any sense of urgency. So, but I believe that before the end of July, I believe that we'll have the will have their ministers. South Africa and India, when the presidents were re-elected, they declared their cabinet within 5 days. That's what serious governments and serious countries do. But you know, Nigeria, we don't take a lot of things
Do you think
seriously.
the president might have his very good reasons for doing that?
There can't
or
be
for
any,
taking,
there
for
can't be
taking
any
his
good
time?
reason. There can't be any good reason. You've been in government for 4 years. You've been running before the president became the president of Nigeria. He had contested 3 times. So he must have been prepared. He must have had avalanche of documents on CVs of very brilliant Nigerians who can serve as ministers. So, and he was in government for 4 years. He has seen the lapses of his ministers. So he should hit he should hit the ground running. He should hit the ground running from day one. So he doesn't have any excuse. It's very shameful and very disappointing. When a country like South Africa and India, India has more population than Nigeria. So what are we talking about? India with Nigeria, our problems are graver than South Africa. We are suffering seriously in this country. So countries where they still have a good sense of living and all that, they are still acting like there's a sense of urgency. And there's this saying in business that it's only the paranoid that survive. Not in Nigeria. In Nigeria, you have to be above paranoid to survive because the system is totally in shambles. So it's unfortunate, but I'm not surprised because I expect it that they are very slow in taking actions.
Wale, what do you make of that, Wale?
So it's quite unfortunate, and I mean, I share Farouk's sentiments. You see, the thing is, we run the business of the nation like it's just a government kind of service. We do not run it like the business owners, the entrepreneurs of this world run their businesses. Now, so I want you to tell me if the president is actually running the nation like his own private business. Assuming he's running it like an entrepreneur, would he stay this long before appointing the MD of his company, before appointing the company secretary, before appointing
CFO.
Yes, financial officers and what have you? That won't be the thing. But because we just see that, oh, it's Nigeria, nothing will happen, and I'm the president, I'm the commander, and I'm this and that, I can do this the way I like or anything. And one other thing that I think we now need to do, flowing from this experience, because this is what we see year in, year out, or every other day.
Yeah.
We need to have a constitutional insertion, or we need to have an insertion in our constitution that gives a particular time frame for any president to appoint ministers and other government officials in this country. So maybe when we have that, and you know that within the first 10 days, you need to do. I think we'll begin to take this issue very seriously in this country. So otherwise, we'll continue to run around, and we'll all yell and scream, and then somebody will continue to say, yes, I want to select the best, and that's the reason I'm this slow. Okay. But that cannot be an excuse for Nigerians, especially at this time, because do not forget that the last time this happened to us, the economy went into recession. A lot of other things did not go right in this country, and we are likely to witness similar things again if care is not taken and if we do not have people that we're going to hold to account very soon.
All right. Thank you so very much. It has been amazing. I wish we had more time to really talk about the underperforming ministers and, of course, the ministers that we believe should come back. Also wish you the sectors that we feel that the ministers should be changed. But, of course, we really do not have time to actually do that. So we're going to be going on a short break. And when we come back, we'll be coming back with new guests. Thank you so very much. We'll be right back.